Kung Hifa Choi! Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year. Councilmember Wire.
Aloha Chair, Happy New Year. I'd like to welcome the Young Duck Dragon and Lion Dance Association, led by Sheng Maihui, Chairman and Chief Instructor.
Mahalo to the Young Dak Dragon and Lion Dance Association led by Shane Maihui. Mahalo. Members, can we take a quick picture with the dragon before we start our meeting?
Yeah, you guys got to.
All right. you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, Chair.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with justice and liberty for all. Thank you so much. Councilmember Wire, would you like to introduce your guest giving a message of aloha?
Thank you, Chair. I have the honor and the pleasure of welcoming John Rapun to the chamber today. Uncle John Rapun is a Waihole farmer, former executive director of the Key Project, and a dedicated advocate and community leader in Kolaupoko and for the entire island. For over 35 years, Uncle John has been a steadfast voice for his primarily agricultural and underserved community, and has contributed to numerous boards, task forces, and community groups, and currently serves on the Kahaluu Neighborhood Board. He has been and continues to be influential to critical planning decisions for the area and has played a pivotal role in shaping major initiatives such as the Kaneohebe Master Plan, the Heart of Kahaluu Master Plan, the Bordeaux Water Supply Watershed Management Plan, and the Kolaupoko Sustainable Communities Plan. Renowned for his forward-thinking approach, Uncle John inspires communities and decision makers to collaborate on solutions that promote long-term sustainability. And through your tireless efforts, you continue to motivate our community to work together to preserve the unique identity of Kolaupoko, with a legacy that fosters dialogue and advances strategic planning to ensure that the region and the island remains vibrant and resilient for generations to come. So mahalo for being here.
Mahalo, Matt. Aloha and good morning, Chair Waters, council members, and yes, Kunghi Fatsoy. As a perpetual procrastinator myself, I welcome this opportunity to celebrate the Chinese New Year. It gives me hope that I might actually catch up with my own calendar of obligations, my job jar. Despite being near the end of the first month of the year, each year races faster than the one before. Matt Wire's office staff kindly prepared this bio for me, very much appreciated. On reading it through, I was immediately reminded of the letters I'd get from my dad while I was away at college in the 70s in freezing upstate New York. Of course, as one of 7 siblings, along with an extended family from Wales to Australia and Hawaii, mine was a very fuzzy 12th carbon copy on thin yellow paper. There was no computers or email back then. And I'd quickly scroll through the short reports on each of us to find my underlying name, a welcome compass that described my doings and whereabouts, without which I'd continue to be wandering in circles. So here I've landed at age 72 in front of you, far from age 27, when I'd often find myself audaciously knocking on council members' doors to ask if I might plead my community's or my own dream on an issue that I felt would change the world. My council visits nowadays are fewer and farther between for a variety of reasons. Maybe you folks are doing such an amazing job. Maybe I'm distracted by the pace of the world. Or maybe I'm just officially retired from 40 years at Key Project, our local nonprofit, and I now treasure my 2 o'clock naps. I've got miles to go before I sleep, however. My reason for accepting Matt's invitation this morning, mahalo Matt for that, is simple. I am honored to take the opportunity to honor you, next generations of those who deign to step forward and represent our island-wide community to the best of your abilities, for the term-limited time that you have to exercise that noble privilege. Yours is by no means an easy task. I know that from vicarious experience after decades of haunting these halls, awaiting an opportunity to testify, to have a private audience with those who've occupied the seats herein, or bend the ears of dedicated staff who, as we speak, are likely upstairs or here, listening to the proceedings, even as they scramble to prepare background information for you or to respond to constituents and help guide both policy and decision-making. Collectively, all of you, all of us, from the ground floor to the committee meeting room, to the chambers we're in, up through the administration offices, and even the tower where the pigeons used to fly in and out, you make county government work. Today, we, my wife and grandson and I, got to park our trusty Waiahole Rent-A-Wreck right up front behind the mayor. But my usual entry over these years has been from the sides. of Honolulu Hale, like walking into Hogwarts in a Harry Potter movie where the framed black and white faces of your predecessors, you'll be there too one day, seem to turn and speak to us as one walks by. Some of them recalled as the face of opposition on any given issue, but for me, pretty much always a respected acquaintance, remembered for their aloha at our interactions over the years. The aloha that is as much your diverse constituents' responsibility to carry on, or that any of our community members, as it is yours to perpetuate. My message of aloha this morning is just that. Do everything here with that spirit, delivered unto others as you would have them unto you. Do unto you. Igniting, inviting respect for the essential civility that provides the foundation of good governance. Governance that puts us in each other's shoes. Governance that invites and inspires civic engagement of, between, and among peers and generations who will follow, without which we will not be able to collectively make decisions that can assure that we survive and even thrive well into the future. And maybe most importantly, governance that brings us to earnestly say, no kahale, our house is yours, that heartfelt invitation to interact with each other out in the field, in each other's moku, in each other's ahupua'a, not just for politics, but to learn about and with each other lessons of good stewardship for the places and complex systems that sustain us. Maybe then, by adhering to a big picture approach, exercising the precautionary principle that keeps us away from the precipices and takes the longest view beyond our time, we will succeed. My dad is a longtime country physician, supported by a dedicated and community-minded wife while she cracked the whip with a daughter and 6 boys, held to the notion that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That is still and will always be the case. Together, as an island community, let us deploy these ounces judiciously such that our and our mo'opuna will be able to avoid the pounding that short-term solutions might bring. Mahalo and hau'oli makahiki ho. And Matt did say that I would have a couple hours here, but hey, I'll save that for my testimony throughout the day. You have a long agenda. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when you come to visit Waiahole, and you're all welcome to come, where we live, love, and take care, expect to engage in some deep conversations about climate change, sea level rise, stream protection, coastal zone management, flood resiliency, food resiliency, emergency preparedness. I'll stop there. I could go on for days, but mahalo for the opportunity to address you this morning.
Thank you so much. Members, I have some procedural announcements. Although remote testimony is being permitted, this is a regular meeting and not a remote meeting by interactive conference technology under HRS section 92-3.7. Therefore, the meeting will continue notwithstanding loss of audiovisual communication with remote testifiers or loss of the public broadcast of the meeting. Members of the public will be allowed to provide oral testimony on all items on the agenda, either in person in the council chamber or remotely. As both English and Hawaiian are official languages of the state of Hawaii, pursuant to Article 15, Section 4 of the Hawaii State Constitution and Section 1-13 of the Hawaii Revised Statutes, members of the public may testify in either language. For oral testimonies offered in Olelo, Hawaii, additional time as may be necessary will be allowed for the testifier to provide an English translation of their testimony. Before testifying, each person shall state their full name and the agenda item they are testifying on. Each speaker may not have anyone else read their statement and is limited to a 3-minute presentation on public hearing and new business items, and a 1-minute presentation on all other items. Registered in-person testifiers will be called first. When your name is called, please proceed to the podium and begin by stating your name and the item you'll be speaking on. When I call for anyone who has not registered to speak in person, please line up to the right of the podium and when it is your turn, proceed to the podium. Begin by stating your name and the item you'll be speaking on. All persons who have registered to testify remotely by video conference or phone will then be called. When your name is called, please monitor your screen and activate your audio feed when prompted. When I call for anyone else standing by remotely, please utilize the Zoom raise hand button to indicate your desire to speak. For those joining us by telephone only, please press star 9 to indicate your desire to speak. The following are some friendly reminders and tips. Video conference from a quiet location if possible. If you're also watching the proceeding on Olelo, please mute your television when you are called to testify. When the timer on the screen reaches 0, please conclude your remarks promptly. For those who are joining us by telephone only, I will identify you by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When your number is called, press star 6 to unmute when prompted. Written testimonies, including the testifier's address, email address, and phone number, will be available to the public as described on the posted agenda. As a courtesy, please turn off all cell phones for the duration of the meeting. For your information, the following bill, published in the public hearing notice on Friday, January 17, 2025, in anticipation of committee action, is not included in today's agenda. Bill 61, 2024, relating to wheelies. I'd like to call the meeting to order. But members, before you start, I just want to take a moment to express the Council's deepest gratitude, love, and aloha to firefighter Jeffrey Fiala, who, as many of you know, tragically lost his life on January 6, 2025, in brave and heroic service to our community. This weekend, hundreds of first responders across Oahu gathered at HFD headquarters in Kaka'ako for a final salute to honor their colleague, friend, and brother. As a community, we must never forget the sacrifices of our first responders who risked their lives to protect us. Jeff's bravery and dedication will always be remembered, and our hearts are with his family and loved ones during this incredibly difficult time. We are a community that stands with you now and forever. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilmember Cordero. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Here.
Councilmember Kia Aina.
Here.
Councilmember Nishimoto. Present. Councilmember Okimoto.
Present.
Councilmember Talba. Here. Councilmember Tupola.
AO.
Councilmember Wire.
Here.
Chair Waters.
Here.
Mr. Chair, 9 members are present.
Thank you. Floor Leader Cordero, introduction of guests.
First off, thank you very much to Vice Chair Wire for having us lead Kong Hei Fat Choi, Gong Si Fa Sai to everybody. Happy Lunar New Year for those that don't know what that means. And we are welcoming the majority of the city administration to the council. We normally don't get to see a lot of them, so we hope we get to see them more as we go into this new year and new term. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Vice Chair Wire, motion to approve the minutes.
I move that the minutes of the 28th and inaugural sessions be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Noting no objections or reservations, the minutes have been approved. Turning to the top of page 4, order of the day. Vice Chair Wire.
I move that resolution 2532 be adopted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Wire for the explanation.
This is relating to the appointment of Emmett Kane to serve on the Salary Commission of the City and County of Honolulu.
Thank you so much. I see Mr. Kane here. Would you like to say a few words? Good morning. Welcome.
Aloha kakaiaka. Mr. Chair, members of council, I am Emmett Kane. I don't have any prepared statements except that I appreciate your consideration from my appointment to the Salary Commission, and should I be deemed and appointed by you folks, I'm honored to serve. With that, Mr. Chair, mahalo, and kung hi fa choi to all of you.
Thank you so much. Members, any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Noting no objections or reservations, Resolution 25- Thank you, Mr. Kane, for your willingness to serve. Vice Chair Wire.
I move that Resolution 2533 be adopted.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Vice Chair Wire for the explanation.
I'm going to further move that Resolution 2533 be amended to the hand-carried FD1. The proposed FD1 makes the following amendments, amending the 4th, 5th, and 7th whereas clauses to correct the spelling of the appointee's name and makes miscellaneous technical and non-substantive amendments.
Thank you. Is there a second to the
Second.
motion to amend? Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers on the motion to amend?
Mr. Chair, the appointee is online.
The nominee, okay. We can go ahead with the nominee. Aloha, welcome. Thank you for being here. I apologize, by the way, the amendment is correcting the spelling of your name. We apologize for getting that wrong, but please proceed.
Aloha, Chair and City Council members. My name is Auli'i Dudwa, and I would appreciate your support to be nominated as a salary commissioner. I really appreciate your consideration. I'm looking forward to serving.
Thank you so much. Members, any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. Members, we're in discussion on the motion to amend. Councilmember Kia Aina.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Auli'i, for being here with us today via Zoom. I just wanted to vouch for Auli'i's nomination. I had the privilege of working with her at the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. She has extensive experience in the nonprofit, higher education, and government sector, both at the state and federal levels, and her commitment to community is unparalleled, and I just vouch for her. You know, we're very good friends, but she's also part of the Hawaii delegation, congressional delegation Ohana, since she worked for Senator Hirono when she was on the House side. Anyway, I strongly support her nomination. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none, any objections or reservations to the amendment? Noting no objections or reservations, Resolution 25-33 has been amended to the hand-carried FD1. Any objections or reservations to waiving Council Rule 19G, the 48-hour notice? Noting no objections or reservations, the 48-hour notice has been waived. Members, any further discussion on the FD1? Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Noting none, Resolution 25-33 FD1 has been adopted. Thank you, Ms. Dudwa, for your willingness to serve. Turning to the top of page 5. Members, if there are no objections, I'd like to take Resolution 25-29 on page 14 out of order. (25-29) confirming the appointment of Don Schwestak by the mayor to serve on the 2025 Charter Commission of the City and County of Honolulu. Any objections to moving that out of order? Seeing none, thank you. Is Ms. Schwestak available? No, that's okay. Mr. Clerk, do we have any registered testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Members, we are in discussion. Seeing none, Resolution 25-29 has been referred to the Committee on Executive Management. Moving to the middle of page 5, Resolution 25-5, confirming the nomination of Michael Formby to serve as the Managing Director of the City and County of Honolulu. By the way, members, before I call Mr. Formby up, we have a number, actually all the cabinet members today. We're going to refer them to committee, at which time we'll have the opportunity to go through extensive questioning if this panel prefers. But I would like to ask each nominee to say a few words. If you absolutely have to ask a question today, by all means, feel free. But I just want to remind you that we'll all have an opportunity to do so at the committee hearings. Having said that, aloha, Mr. Formby. Thank you so much for being here. Please proceed.
Good morning, Council Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and council members. Mike Formby, Managing Director Designate. And I come before you today hoping and trusting that my body of work over the last 4 years demonstrates my qualifications to be Managing Director in the Mayor's second term. I've tried my best to work closely with council, with our communities, with our residents and our taxpayers, to act with the spirit of collaboration, with thoughtful deliberation, so that we could move the city forward. And I'm here today humbly asking for your support. I'm happy to answer any questions today or before committee. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Members, any questions for Managing Director? See none. Thank you, sir. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Yes, we have one testifier standing by.
Please proceed.
Aloha, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please proceed.
Mahalo, I appreciate it. Raquel Achu, Wailuamoku, North Shore. I'm so sorry, I'm in the middle of storm prepping here in the ranch, so I'll make this quick. I am in support of the confirmation of Managing Director Formby. I felt it necessary to just at least share, and I think I've said this about other nominees in the past. It's very rare to get the engagement and the support and the time from our leaders that we have experienced here on the North Shore in the past few years. So I'm very appreciative of that. I'm appreciative of the time and the work that is put in place. And I hope and I look forward to that collaboration to continue. So I appreciate it, and I wish all the best, and welcome Director Formby. Mahalo.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have one more testifier online with their hand raised.
Okay, please proceed.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, other members of the committee, Donald Sakamoto, President of Citizens for a Fair Eddie Ride. You folks probably know me as the bus handyman and skyline advocate. I know Mike Formby from when he was the Department of Transportation Director back in 2013, and when he left at 2016 and went to Congress with Congresswoman Muhammad Hanabusa. He's a very, very honorable man. He's very fair. He listens to you. He gets back to you. I fully support his nomination to continue on with the second term with the mayor for this administration. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you so much. Mr. Clerk, any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have one other testifier just raised their hand.
Okay, please proceed.
Mahalo, Chair, for this time to speak up on Michael Hornby. I like this guy. He's an incredible person. We've been fighting against desecration for a while. Up in Wailupe, one of the biggest desecration that we've been trying to preserve and protect. He came up with his team, took the time to get connected, respected our culture, and from there he got my respect in everything he does. So I'd love to see him continue doing what he's doing, get out into the community as he's been. And yeah, mahalo for your service, Michael. I appreciate you and hope to see you as a mayor, hopefully one day. So I definitely would love to see him in the same position again. Mahalo.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Councilmember Cordero, followed by Councilmember Kiaina.
Thank you, Managing Director Designate Formby, for your words. I do want to ask if, moving forward with the council and knowing that majority of the council is continuing on for the next 4 years, how are you going to better the communication and relationship to be more of a partnership with the legislative branch?
Thank you for that question, Councilmember Cordero. And the answer, of course, is a yes. I think we can always improve, always do better, and I take that to heart, and we'll focus on that. But clearly, we want to work closely with all council members. And I want to make sure I understood the question. Did you say legislature or? I couldn't hear you.
Well, for the legislative body, I think I just said legislators. Yeah.
So referring to city council, absolutely. That's always a goal of ours, and And to the extent that we can do better, all of the city departments, I'll work with them to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll reserve the rest of the comments for the committees, but I just want to share that we would like to not find out things in the news. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Kiaina.
Mr. Formby, you play probably the most important role for the city administration, the mayor and the city administration, and I strongly support your continuing to serve. As you and your cabinet know, I've not been shy to say when I'm upset with something or there's lack of communication. So for myself, I've never had a problem communicating with the administration. I did want to highlight that given what is going on at the federal level, I mentioned it to you, but I think this is actually for all of us, and I know that Budget Chair Dos Santos Tam is very interested in what's happening at the federal level, impact on funding coming down to the city. So there's no questions. I'm just trying to tell you that you play a critical role. I'd like to see you continue that role. But the most important challenge for us will be better coordination in general with regard to current funding, whether they be mandatory funding, formula funding, or discretionary funding. And we need to peel down those layers to better strategize on how we will collectively work to having a strong budget to give you guys the necessary tools to fight for us. And I stand ready to help in that endeavor.
Thank you. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you to my colleague, Councilmember Kiaina, for bringing this up. Managing Director, you are at the helm of our canoe and leading us forward. And over the past 9 days, we've gotten a sense of maybe some stormy waters ahead. And so I want to make sure that we're approaching this issue, which could be years, with eyes wide open. So I wanted to ask right now, how concerned are you on a scale of 1 to 10 about the federal funding issue, and what steps is the administration taking right now to help mitigate, address, and reprogram things if necessary?
Thank you, Council Member, for that question. So on a scale of 1 to 10, probably 10, very concerned. And we've been trying to prioritize those federal funds that go to the most needy among us. So obviously we're looking at our HUD programs, our voucher programs, monies that go to our nonprofits that assist those that are in the ALICE population, but we're also concerned about federal funds. And this morning I sent an email to the chair and the vice chair from OMB that indicated that they were directed to stand down on the funding freeze in the near term, but we expect them to come back in a more targeted way. And so we have to be on our toes. Yesterday I received a call from the Lieutenant Governor, and she made a request of me that I actually want to use this opportunity to share with you all, because at the state level, they're asking all constituents to go to their legislators when they feel that there are federal funds being cut off that impact their lives, their businesses, their nonprofits. And the Lieutenant Governor asked me to do the same thing with council, that if we could do clearinghouse through council members by district, and then you were to let the administration know when you have constituents that are being impacted, that would help us consolidate and aggregate information. So I'll be making that request to the chair, and I hope that I can do that. I think for me to try to take all the calls and all the emails would be very difficult, but I would hope that we can work with council in that respect. We have an attorney, actually not an attorney, we have a gentleman that works for a law firm in DC, Dennis Dwyer, who keeps us informed of what's happening at the federal level. And I'm happy to share all of those emails that I get directly with you. And I obviously can't send it to all of you at once without violating the Sunshine Law, so I would like to be able to send it to the chair and the vice chair, and then you can do whatever processes are appropriate, or you can let me know how to do that. But I get communications from Dennis Dwyer, including the OMB letter this morning, that I think I would like to pass on to council so you know exactly what's happening as soon as I learn of what's happening. So I'm very concerned, council member. We have individual departments that are reaching out to the federal level, to their counterparts at the federal level to find out what's happening. And I'm happy to share any information with you and receive any information from you.
Thank you. Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you so much, Chair. Aloha MD, thank you for being here. Of course, very supportive. Mahalo for all your communication. I think just to carry over just a small piece of what Councilmember Cordero mentioned, I just really, in the committee, want to hear a little bit more about how you guys are going to do your follow-up. I've done many, many meetings with many departments, with many people over many topics, and many of them are very repetitive. And I just think that there needs to be a better follow-up system. I know you guys have a million different pieces that you're chasing down. And, I know we use kind of like the riser system, but I think in the ways that we work with the departments, there's been a lot of frustration on our part to figure out how many follow-ups we need in order to get an answer. But I'm sure that in this next 4 years, hopefully you guys can kind of get a system down or share with us what we can expect for that follow-up. And then my second short brief comment is just in regards to, yes, federal funding, but more importantly with this wastewater fee increase, which is on the horizon, just knowing more about what the administration's plan is to bring down that cost for our constituents, because I do think that that amount is way too big for us. And I want to know more about what we can do to support, to your point of us, reaching out and knowing what's going on and helping. I'm more than happy to help with whatever needs to happen there so that we can pursue things that might be able to bring that down and have you guys present a better plan that doesn't include so much of an increase for our constituents. But no comments you need to make right now. Those are just the main two things on my mind, but always grateful for how available you've made yourself, especially to me in my office. So thank you very, very much. Mahalo, Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? Thank you, sir. Resolution 25-5 has been referred to the Committee on International and Legal Affairs. Moving to the bottom of page 5, Resolution 25-6, confirming the nomination of Andrew T. Kawano to serve as Director of Budget and Fiscal Services of the City and County of Honolulu. Good morning, Mr. Kawano. Thank you for being here today.
Aloha, good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, honorable council members. I want to thank you for your time and your consideration of allowing me to continue as Director of Budget and Fiscal Services. Forgot to state my name again, Andy Kawano, Director Designate. It's been a 4 years of lots of learning, and except for Councilmember Nishimoto, getting to know all of you, some of you better, perhaps because I've been on committees that you've chaired, and vice chaired. But definitely, I want to get to know all of you better, and you all have new staff, advisory staff, and I'd like to work with them better as well. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Members, any questions for Director Kawano? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have Donald Sakamoto standing by remotely.
Okay, let's go with Don Sakamoto, followed by Tim Gary.
Good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair, all the council members, Donald Sakamoto, a longtime Kaneohe resident. I'd like to support Andy Kawano for this position to continue on. As a Kaneohe Neighbor Board, he attends our meetings for the mayor's representative. He's been very cordial in answering my question, other questions from the community and board members. So I appreciate him being on our neighborhood board representative for the mayor, and his wise and elegant way of he does the budget is a very hard job, but I support Andy Kawano for the position.
Thank you, Mr. Sakamoto. Next, we have Tim Gary. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Mr. Kawano, I have a concern I brought up with Mayor Blangiardi this morning. I've spoken with the chair and various council members, and it's in regards to the property assessment and the rapid rise in property assessments. A couple of years ago, council gave a $160,000 exemption to seniors. That was completely wiped out on my latest property assessment. I'm almost 70 years old. I'm on a fixed income. My water rates are going up 100%. My electricity is going up 100%. All these things are going up. The mayor, the council, the state, the governor all wants to keep people in Hawaii. They say that over here. Over here, they make it impossible. I have floated the idea, and I've been lobbying everybody, including the mayor on the radio this morning, to increase the senior property exemption to what Councilmember Wire proposed, $400,000. Why do we buy our property and then get taxed out of it by the council? It can't be right on both sides. The mayor said, well, we didn't raise the rate. It said 2%. But they jacked the assessment. My property has gone up over $350,000 in 2 years. So yes, granted, you didn't raise the rate, but my taxes went up because of the assessment. Chair Waters has said, well, you know, we only have so much, we got to give and take. But you're pricing people out of their homes. Do you have any proposals to where you can mitigate the cost to where I don't have to leave Hawaii? I appreciate your answer. Thank you.
Actually, questions should be directed from the council. But if you'd like to answer that, I'd give you the opportunity.
Yes, I'm sorry, Chair, what was the gentleman's name again?
That's Tim Gary.
Excuse me?
Tim Gary.
Tim Herring. So yes, I do share the concern of the cost of living in Hawaii, and you know, real property tax is a part of it, but there are other drivers of cost, you know, living on this island. We have already in place a number of exemptions and credits that taxpayers can apply for. I'm not in support of greatly increasing exemptions for senior citizens without other factors being considered, because a lot of senior citizens 65 and over can afford to pay their property tax. I do believe that we have to perhaps better address those that are struggling, and you know, Managing Director mentioned that as well. Those that in need to be reconsidered, you know, addressed and thought of. We have a difficult job, as you all know, in terms of balancing the budget every year. All of the costs of running government are going up as well. So what we as residents experience, we're experiencing within government. You know, the cost of operations, the cost of capital improvements are all going up. So you're right, at some point something has to give, and or we continue to tweak, make adjustments where it makes sense. But from my standpoint, I want to ensure that whatever we do is fair and equitable and gives consideration to those that really need assistance.
Thank you. Members, any follow-up? Councilmember Wire.
Thank you, Chair. And you know, I'll reserve most of my questions for a committee, but just since we're on this topic, appreciate you being here, Director, and the work you're doing. And I know in the past we've gone back and forth on the low-income tax credit. I think going through Mr. Gary's questions and concerns, I think we'll also do in committee, but just given the discussion we just had or what you were relating, I'm wondering how open BFS would be to looking seriously at the low-income tax credit, because I know we've talked about increasing that threshold as well. And talking to other departments that have support programs, they're also incorporating AMI levels. I know that was contemplated in the ENV program for the sewer rate relief and other city programs. It doesn't have to be AMI sorry to go long, Chair, but just wanted to get your thoughts on that, because I think if we're waiting on BFS to bring us an analysis of the empty homes tax and a possible increase in revenue, I mean, I think that would offset a slight adjustment at minimum, right? I think that's very low-hanging fruit, increasing the low-income tax credit. When I think the last time we did it, it was about $5 million, or you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure exactly what the cost was to the city, but mahalo.
Yeah, thank you, Vice Chair Wire. Prior to the increase of the income limit for the tax credit, we would process about 3,500 applications and provide just over $5 million of benefit through credits, through tax credits. When we increased the income limit from $60,000 to $80,000, and I believe we're in the second year of having that in place, the amount of applications that we review and approve have gone over 5,000. You know, we're over 5,000, and the benefit and credits are approaching $9.5 million. So there is a significant increase there. My recommendation would be that because we have so many active real property tax bills on the table, you know, involving credits, exemptions, differences in structure. You know, when I say structure, I'm talking about replacing residential and residential A with owner-occupied and non-owner occupied, right? There's a bill covering that. So I strongly recommend that we go into a permitted interaction group and look at everything together and weigh in how the budget is impacted. I've talked to a few council members about the permitted action group, and I think we also should include experts, you know, experts in terms of taxation in the permitted action group to ensure that we're effective. So that's where I'm coming from. Vice Chair, thank you.
I'll open that, and not a question, but I'll just note that I think the increase in applications is probably a reflection of the need, right? Because if people are eligible and applying, that means that there's folks that meet that criteria. But appreciate the data. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you, Chair. Aloha, Director. Thank you for being here. Hopefully in the committee we can hear a little bit more. I thank you for the time that you came to see me, and of course all the other directors. Last 2 days I've been trying to take back-to-back so I can talk to all of you. But one of the things that a lot of the other directors were sharing were kind of more efficiencies that they're going to be pursuing within their department, whether it's moving particular positions to a different code or getting somebody that expedites this or an AI chatbot, whatever it was. There was a lot of ideas of how to expedite it. And I guess one of my concerns with BFS has always been like the slowness of procurement. I believe that we had like 36 concession contracts that we can possibly fill, and within the last couple of years, we've done 2, and I don't know if that's because there's a staffing issue or maybe there's an efficiency issue, but I think I would like to hear in the committee maybe more about exactly where you feel like the stuck points are that are slowing down processes that could possibly bring in revenue to the city and help our other departments run, because you guys are kind of the financial cog in the wheel that every other department needs to run well. So I would like to hear more of that if possible in the committee from you, and just kind of what your plans are as far as, you know, in this upcoming budget. I'm sure you'll talk about it a little bit, but to me, that's one of the most important things. Yes, of course, real property tax, I agree with you. Let's do the permitted interaction group. But I do want to hear whatever you think would be better for your department to move more efficiently to process other financial things for other departments.
Thank you. Councilmember Cordero.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Director-Designate Kawano. Thank you very much for being here. And my question is bouncing off of Councilmember Tupola's supporting financially other agencies. My question is, you know, first off, we're facing so many different monetary concerns or funding concerns, and I know that with federal funding, probably not certain, as well as even funding in the general fund or in our capital budget, how are we going to, I guess, come together and just finally just drop just extra things that we've been holding on to so that we can help subsidize some of the things that we need to address, like any sewer fees or any other fees that's coming up.
I want to comment on the sewer fee first because it's been brought up twice. I want everyone to keep in mind that the increases that we start off with, the 9% for a few years, those increases cover costs already incurred. So we're talking about obligations that we already have on the books that we have to pay. If we don't band together and move forward with the increases, it's only going to get worse. We will do more informational briefings as needed, but there were a number of years from 2017 where no increases were put in effect. I'm not going to second guess the past administration as to why they didn't do any increases, but because we were at zero for a number of years and COVID happened and we had to defer, we're essentially paying catch up right now to cover costs that are already obligations of the city. So I just want to make that clear. We're not paying for future work of Sand Island, and deferring Sand Island will not make a difference in the near term. Down the road it could, but not in the near term. We need to make those increases happen. In terms of the threat of lost federal funding under the current Trump administration, we're all very concerned about it. And I think, as our managing director mentioned, the most important thing is that we all communicate and we continuously set action plans to mitigate the impact, because we really don't know what's going to happen. I'm hopeful that democracy wins at the end and puts guardrails up so we don't go off the deep end. But I don't know. I'm not an insider in Washington, so I think from BFS's standpoint, what we need to do is like Councilmember Tupola stated, look at ways that we can be more efficient and effective to get things out, and we have procurement improvement initiative in place with working groups that we can share during the budget review process. And we need to also ensure, though, that when we receive federal funding, as a compliance and reporting function of the city, we have to make sure that we keep things buttoned down well enough so that when we're audited, the federal agency, whoever it is, does not carve anything back, because that would be shameful if we have to pay back federal funding that we've already deployed. So I think that's what we're going to do going forward. But yeah, for now, we're just, it's business as usual. We have a belief in government that we're going to, within certain bounds, stay on track and keep our island moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any further questions for Director Designee Kawano? Seeing none, thank you, sir. I will reserve my questions for the Budget Committee hearing on your nomination, but may I ask that you be prepared to talk about possible revenue generating ideas without raising taxes on local people, as well as alternatives to paying for the 100% increase in the sewer fee. Thank you, members. Councilmember Tupola, good? All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Resolution 25-6 has been referred to the Committee on Budget. Next, on page 6, Resolution 25-7, confirming the nomination of Anton C. Krucky to serve as Director of Community Services of the City and County of Honolulu. Aloha, Mr. Krucky. Thank you for being here. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and honorable council members. It's been a real honor for me to be able to serve the people of Oahu and the city and county for the last 3.5 years in this position and my previous position at the Department of Community Services, and I really respectfully and humbly ask for your support to continue being able to serve.
Thank you. Members, any questions for Director Krucky? Councilmember Wire.
Thank you, Chair. And not necessarily a question, but mahalo, Director, for being here. And more of a request, because I know Budget Chair will have a lot of info coming out in budget down the line. And so just to conserve time, given the conversation and questions, I was hopeful maybe once we come to committee, any department, I guess, coming into HSEH, maybe provide an overview of federal funds that the department relies on and positions that rely on those funds. And then I'm sure going forward over the next few months, there'll also be continued conversations as the administration brainstorms and looks at opportunities. But I just think it might be good to start early on having an overview of what could be affected, and even if there's already thoughts of plans, say particular funds get pulled, how that would affect positions or services. Appreciate that.
Thank you. I think that's a very appropriate request, especially in the Department of Community Services. So much of our activity is funneled through federal funds, and although we got to stay on that today, my anticipation is there'll be more targeted areas, so I have to blanket wide prepare, and I'll share that preparation with you.
Mahalo.
Members, any follow-up? Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you. Aloha, Director. Thank you for your time and your continued communication. Similarly, in the committee, I hope that you can address maybe if your office will be coming out with a list, maybe in conjunction with DLM or others. I feel like frequently the city administration has asked me to suggest parcels that you guys can build and look at, and I've done it over and over and over again. So I'm willing to come to more affordable housing meetings or what it is, but I would like to see maybe if you guys have a priority order. And, you know, I've heard many, many things said verbally about, oh, we're looking at that and maybe this, because I feel like in my district, I've mentioned the same properties I've suggested, and not just to you, actually, to many other department heads and to MDs. So just wanted to know, since you guys do have funding to do such an acquisition, if we could see maybe a priority list, and it doesn't have to be of my district, it could be of all of our districts, but then at least we know how and where you're moving and what you're prioritizing, because I'm fine with not being in the priority list, but I just would like to know kind of where we fall or if it's still being looked at. It would just be something good for us so that we don't have to continuously ask the same questions.
Thank you. I will confer with my colleagues.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any further questions of Director Krucky? Seeing none, thank you, sir. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have Donald Sakamoto and Mr. Gary standing by.
Thank you. Please proceed, Mr. Sakamoto.
Good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair, other council members, Donald Sakamoto again. I'd like to support Anton Crockett for this position. I met him in 2022 with some issues regarding with the disabilities, and I look forward to working with him on his committees with homelessness and persons, seniors, Kapuna, and kudos for him what he does there. It's a hard job, but go, Anton Crockett. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Tim Gary.
Yes, good morning. I strongly support Anton Crockett to be reaffirmed. We're getting this vast, knowledgeable man at a very big discount. He's 5-star.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers.
Thank you. Members are in discussion. Seeing none, Resolution 25-7 has been referred to the Committee on Housing, Sustainability, Economy, and Health. Moving to the bottom of page 6, Resolution 25-8, confirming the nomination of Dana M.O. Viola to serve as Corporation Counsel of the City and County of Honolulu. Aloha and welcome.
Good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and honorable members of the council. Dana Viola Corporation Counsel Designate. I just wanted to say that I've enjoyed and have been honored to support and to advise all of you for the last 4 years, and I just ask that for your support for another 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions for Corporation Counsel? Seeing none, thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Council Member Kia Aina.
Thank you. I just wanted to mahalo Corporation Counsel for defending the city in the Haiku Stairs case. As many of you saw on social media in the last couple of days, there have been continuing trespassers on top there, just showing utmost disrespect not only for our laws, but for our Aina and for just the people of Hawaii, right? And so I'm very disappointed that the court is not rendering a decision because I feel that public safety is at stake. So I just wanted to make that statement. Mahalo, you guys. And second, I feel that I'm worried about actually others who unintentionally will be getting hurt up there. And so in the long run, we need to be very careful with private security versus HPD security. I do know that the latter is more expensive, but we are in a very awkward position. So I just want to make sure that your office does its best in continuing to represent us, but also taking into account public safety. So that's just my comment. No questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Members, any further questions for Corporation Counsel? Seeing none, thank you. Well, we're in discussion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Resolution 25-8 has been referred to the Committee on International and Legal Affairs. Moving to the top of page 7, Resolution 25-9, relating to the nomination of Kimberly M. Hashiro to serve as the Director of Customer Services of the City and County of Honolulu. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and council members. I'm Kim Hashiro, Director Designate for the Department of Customer Services. I have very much seen growth and progress in our department over the last term. And while a lot of that was operational and restructuring and having to really increase efficiencies in our department, not only do I want to hopefully have the opportunity to continue that, but this next 4 years is really going to focus on technology improvements and ultimately increasing service to the public. We do not have any long wait times for services anymore, and we're really proud of that as a department. And I just would like to, definitely support that and move that forward in this next term. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you, members. Any discussion? Seeing none, Resolution 25-9 has been referred to the Committee on Public Safety and Customer Services. Moving to the bottom of page 7, Resolution 25-10, confirming the nomination of Dominic H.K. Millis to serve as the Director of Design and Construction of the City and County of Honolulu. Aloha and welcome.
Good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and honorable council members. I'm Haku Millis. I'm the Director Designate for the Department of Design and Construction. Just would like to share how much of an honor it has been and continues to be to serve in this capacity. I have appreciated working with all of you. Appreciate your consideration, again, to continue to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Any discussion, members? Seeing none, Resolution 25-10 has been referred to the Committee on Planning, Infrastructure, and Transportation. Moving to the top of page 8, Resolution 25-11, confirming the nomination of James H.E. Ireland, M.D., to serve as the Director of Emergency Services of the City and County of Honolulu. Welcome, Dr. Ireland. Thank you for joining us today.
Chair, Council, it's a pleasure to be here. James Ireland, Director Designate for the Honolulu Emergency Services Department. Can answer any questions. It's been humbling the last 4 years, but it's been great because I have a great team. EMS, previously Ocean Safety, and now the core team in Health Services. I'm looking forward to another 4 years. It seems like the challenges just keep getting greater, but because I'm surrounded by such great people, it makes the job easier. And I think, you know, I never saw our team come together stronger on the early hours of New Year's, and I just couldn't be prouder to be working with them.
Thank you. Members, any questions for Dr. Ireland? Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you so much. Aloha, Dr. Ireland. Thank you for being here. I appreciate the meeting that we had regarding CORE, and I did send a few months ago the follow-up of the questions that you guys were going to respond back to me. The specificity of some of the questions we had, you said you were going to return. So if you and Deputy Ian Santi wouldn't mind sending that back over. I think as we prepare for budget cycle, I still really want to know the details and outline of the core program. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Members, any other questions for the nominee? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have Raquel Achu standing by remotely.
Okay, let's go with the remote testifier and then Angela Melodium.
Good morning. Thank you. Just Raquel Achu, Wailomoku North Shore, in support of the reconfirmation of Director Ireland. It goes without saying what an incredibly heavy-handed tasks that he has on his hands with multiple departments and the challenges they face. I absolutely extend my support and my appreciation, especially in light of the tragic events that we started the year off with. And, you know, their services are they don't go unnoticed, and they're hugely appreciated, and I'm certain they could use more. So I wish them well in the new year, and I hope that Dr. Ireland is able to continue that success. Mahalo.
Thank you. Next, we have Angela Melodium.
Aloha, Angela Melody Young, Work Cares, in strong support of the nomination for Dr. Ireland. And I won't take up the whole 3 minutes because I want to be considerate of your time. But I just want to show my support for one of the directors for the emergency services office, as they're responsible for planning, responding to, and recovering from emergencies. So they also work to educate the public and maintain governmental services during emergencies, and the things that were talked about in the last season and not talked about were alluded to, such as some of the students that could prepare for career development workforce training to get into this field, such as learning about CPR, preparing for a career in paramedic training. I just really appreciate all the work that the office does. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other testifiers, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you, members. We're in discussion. Councilmember Kia Aina.
Aloha, Dr. Ireland. Thank you for representing the mayor at the Kailua Neighborhood Board. So he's my partner in talking about city issues before Kailua. No question, I just wanted to alert you. I've already, let Director Krucky be aware that the Department of Health, the State Department of Health, has pulled out with regard to the acquisition of the HPU Kaneohe campus. And I understand that the Department of Land and Natural Resources is looking at it or actually is moving forward. And I have to tell you, I don't know if that's the most appropriate venue for LUNAR, because there's rooms there, there's dorms there. And you and I went on a site visit with Director Krucky, and we should consider, the city should consider buying the HPU campus. We talked about an emergency management presence there. We can have homeless shelters. we can have affordable housing there. I just wanted to flag it for you. No comment, and then just mahalo you for working with me with the Kailua Neighborhood Board. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any further discussion? Councilmember Okimoto.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question for Director Ireland, and it's maybe for MD as well, but I just wanted to know if you could give us an update on, last year we passed the resolution for the EMS and the fire merger, and I haven't seen anything since then. I know that a lot has happened, out in the communities, but could you give us an update? And I probably will just give you advice that probably in the Public Safety Committee, I'll be asking for updates regularly about that. Thank you.
Council member, I'd be happy to give you an update. The mayor agreed with the resolution and does plan to stand up the task force. And in the fiscal year 26 budget, we actually split a funding request between two departments so that we would be able to conduct studies and take forth all the considerations that council asked us to do about combining departments. And so we will be moving on that. Happy to report.
Thank you, Managing Director Formby, and thank you. I know we're going to meet together soon, but I am looking forward to the reports and the updates about how that task force is and how we can address the concerns or the issues that were brought to the committee. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Resolution 25-11 has been referred to your committee on public safety and customer services. Moving to the bottom, page 8, Resolution 25-12, confirming the nomination of Dita Holyfield to serve as the Director of Enterprise Services of the City and County of Honolulu. Aloha and welcome.
Good morning, Chair. Thank you for having me. Good morning, Vice Chair Wire, all City Council members and staff. My name is Dita Holyfield. I'm the Designate Director for the Department of Enterprise Services. I'm excited to move forward in this opportunity for the next 4 years. Although I've only been on board for 1 year and 3/4, it's been a very exciting time and a lot of great things have happened. I just love the staff that I have in our 5 divisions. So I feel like we're just getting started, and I brought a lot of big ideas to the table as I met with each one of you, except for Councilmember Okimoto. Look forward to our time together, and I look forward to, Chair, thank you so much for assigning me to Councilmember Toba and Kiana, and I look forward to seeing what great things we can do together to move the needle.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, one testifier in the chamber.
Please proceed.
Aloha, Angela Melody Young, work here is in strong support of the nomination for one of the directors. And so entertainment and activities, the Blaisdell Center, I am so excited that there's such an amazing director for that. And so the director oversees the Blaisdell Center, and then they also have world-class acts to elevate the Hawaiian artists as well as famous national and international artists and musicians to perform in Hawaii. And so dealing with all of that scope of work, I think it brings a lot of fun and more attention to music and culture to elevate the music industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Looks like we have one more testifier, Mr. Clerk.
We're trying to bring that person on.
Is this public comment?
Yes, please proceed. Start with your name, please.
Yes. Thank you. My name is Kimberly Goheen Elben, and I'm a life citizen of Clark County, Washington, USA, across the Pacific Ocean. Aloha and shaka to the wonderful people of Hawaii, and may God bless our struggling Pacific Ocean. I'd like to state a few things here. I took an oath on my 18th birthday to protect America from foreign and domestic enemies. And as I was born in Vancouver, Washington, USA, I came on duty again as Vancouver 4 years ago, I found out, is a United Nations entity, as is Portland, Oregon, all of the West Coast capitals, and over 400 American cities follow the United Nations, and also is Honolulu. The membership is under the ICLEI, known also as the Green New Deal. These cities do not follow the Constitution, and these cities claim...
So, ma'am, we're talking about Resolution 25-12, the appointment of Dita Holyfield as the Director of Enterprise Services. Would you like to comment on her
No, I was
nomination?
waiting for open public comment, sir. Open public comment.
Okay, is there anything you'd like to say about Dita Holyfield?
No, thank you. I don't know that agenda, but I'll wait for public comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Tim Gary.
Yeah, good morning. Tim Gary. I strongly support Dita. For you guys to confirm her, she's a ball of fire. She's done a great job last couple of years. Every time I call her, she calls me right back. And she's a solutions-oriented person. She doesn't kick anything down the road. Please support her. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further testifiers, Mr. Clerk?
Mr.
On
Chair,
Dita
that-
Holyfield.
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers.
Thank you very much. Members, discussion, Councilmember Kia Aina.
Hey, aloha, Director Designate. So good to see you. You know, your agency is one of the only ones whose sole purpose is to not just provide entertainment for our communities, but raise money. And I know you've been doing a good job at that, and we'll have more questions at your confirmation hearing. I just wanted to flag for you, and I talked to the Royal Hawaiian Band Director. They are, of course, doing a fabulous job for us, but as you know, we authorized their ability to charge fees. And I just think that with their move to a new headquarters, they have the beautiful ballroom that I know needs fixing. I know a lot of people from the public who would really appreciate their, their musical talents. And maybe you might want to work with them to see if they need any assistance on how to get the word out with regard to their services to the public, because I know a lot of people who would be interested in that. And that's my only comment. No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilmember Tupola.
Thank you. In line with that, and as well as what Chair Waters said, you are the revenue generating arm of the city. And so I think the question he posed to Director Kawano, I would like to hear kind of from both of you, because the more able you are to move, the more revenue we can bring in. So I would like whatever is needing to be ironed out between BFS and your agency, because I think what you've done in a short amount of time shows that you can, and we could probably do more. So I'd be interested in both of you guys working together. And I know it's his confirmation and yours separated, so maybe in the budget hearings or wherever it's appropriate, but I think it has to come from both of you guys. And I hope that, BFS can kind of support the initiatives that you need, or maybe the things that could help you to be more successful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none, Resolution 25-12 has been referred to the Committee on Innovation, Technology, and Entertainment. Moving to the top of page 9, Resolution 25-13, confirming the nomination of Roger W. Babcock, Jr., PE, PhD, to serve as the Director of the Department of Environmental Services of the City and County of Honolulu. Is Dr. Babcock available?
Yes, good afternoon.
Aloha.
Chair Waters, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Good.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and council members. Roger Babcock, Director Designate of ENV. I'm coming to you from California, where I'm attending a conference for wastewater utility managers. It has been my honor to serve as a director over the past 4 years, the first year at DFM and the last 3 at ENV. I do really enjoy working with all of the council members, and in addition, especially the almost 900 staff members that I have at ENV. And I will be honored to continue to serve as the director of ENV. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Members, any questions for Director Babcock? Councilmember Wire.
Thank you, Chair. And mahalo, Director, for all the work you're doing. Not so much questions, but just similar request as made to Director Krucky during committee. If can or would be asking for just the initial analysis that's going in. I know, as I said, I'll defer to Budget Chair and think he'll include more, but again, we're just making sure that a review and consideration of potential impacts of federal funds shifting and impacts on the department. So just having an intro to that, and I just also ask that you come able to discuss the different components of our operating and CIP budget and how those would be utilized for the landfill siting. And then also understanding there's been conversations, just maybe coming to talk through other options that have been talked about in terms of funding sources to offset the sewer rates that have come up. Would be things that we could talk through, not asking for a full info briefing on it, but just for these initial conversations, that'd be helpful. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. I'll be happy to do that, council member.
Thank you. Members, Councilmember Tupola.
Aloha, Director. Thank you for being with us, even virtually. I hope all is well over there and can't wait to hear what you're learning or what we can apply here in the city. Just to double down on that, but also Director Kawano mentioned that, this 9% increase is for things we already owe, so this is money we need to catch up on, et cetera. But I do think that what Councilmember Wires said about us having a proposal of what funds you guys are going to be seeking to bring that cost down, I'm going to be bringing to the committee a list of grants that I looked at that we could possibly apply for, and I would like you to bring a list as well. I do think that we need to be realistic, that there's no way we're raising $10 billion off of taxpayers. There's no way. So we need to find whatever we can, wherever it exists, and pursue those steps quick and fast, because if we already owe this money, then we need this plan like yesterday of what we needed to do to bring that amount down. But we're here to support, and we're here to help you. So thank you, Director.
Thank you. Happy to have those conversations.
Thank you, members. Any further questions for Dr. Babcock? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Yes, Mr. Chair, one person in the chamber, one person remotely with their hand raised. I believe it's Mr. Sakamoto.
Thank you. Let's start with the remote testifier. Looks like Don Sakamoto.
Good morning, Chair of Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and other council members. Donald Sakamoto from Kaneohe. I fully support Roger Babcock Jr. Very good in responding to my concerns at Kaneohe Neighbor Board concern Haiku Road with the sewer smells with the drain pipe, not drain pipe, but the manhole covers. They did a wonderful job, took care of it. He sent me an email personally, informed me it was done, and I respect that, and I respect him for what he does. Thank you.
Thank you. Angela Melody Young.
Thank you, Chair. Angela Melody Young. And Happy New Year, by the way. 恭喜发财，新年快乐, Chinese New Year. I'm in strong support of the one of the director's nominations, Director Babcock. Supporting that director's nomination to manage the department that manages trash and Opala. So the mission, the vision, and the passion is far-reaching to protect the Aina and to develop a sustainable future for the Keikis. So I appreciate the office and the team and the work and everything from raising awareness about how the prior generations' business models of pollution has affected our generation nowadays to build a more biodegradable future and to legislate policy making to provide a vision of a clean environment and a brighter future with climate action goals. The director and the department works with businesses and also county's office and the general public to foster a sense of joint responsibility for the Aina to protect it from trash. And so although the next landfill location is being debated, I do appreciate the work of the office and the team. So thank you.
Thank you. We're in discussion, members. Councilmember Kia Aina.
Thank you, Chair. Aloha, Director. I know I'm meeting with you tomorrow. You, out of everyone, has one of the most difficult jobs, not just with our consideration of wastewater fees, finding a landfill site, and third, which I want to talk about and just let you know so that you could be prepared for tomorrow, is about the pollution of our beaches because of a lot of our wastewater treatment plants. And today, from Civil Beat, if you could please read it. It said, harmful sewage continues to pollute Kailua Bay despite increased scrutiny. And you and I have been on the site with other lawmakers, and I have to tell you, I am getting intolerant of excuses of why you can't mitigate it in the short run. The question is not why is it happening. The question is what can you do in the short run? You already have in place a system to mitigate it by the end of the year, and I am well aware of it, but I had specifically asked you several months ago to figure out short-term mitigation, and so I look forward to our dialogue tomorrow, but this is not sustainable. Paying $400,000 in fines to the Department of Health, State Department of Health in 2023 is gonna continue as long as we don't grapple with this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none, Resolution 25-13 has been referred to the Committee on Housing, Sustainability, Economy, and Health. Moving to the bottom of page 9, Resolution 25-14, confirming the nomination of Jean C. Albano, P.E., to serve as the Chief Engineer of the Department of Facility Maintenance of the City and County of Honolulu. Aloha and welcome.
Good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, honorable members of the City and County of Honolulu Council. Jean Albano, Director and Chief Engineer Designate of the Department of Facility Maintenance. It has been my pleasure and very humbled to have been the director for the last 18 months. I'm hopeful that I can continue in this role in which our department does its best to maintain all of the city assets, whether it's the sidewalks, streets, streams, anything to make sure that the citizens have the best quality of life as well as the public safety that they deserve. I appreciate your consideration to continue as director, and I will gladly take or field any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you. Members, any questions for Director-Designate Albano? Councilmember Cordero.
Thank you. Hi, Director Designate Albano. Thank you very much for your statement. And I know you've been here less time than the other directors, but I remember when you first came to majority of this council here, you got stuck in the elevator. So that's under your purview, and I hope that in my committee that we will be able to get updates not only on that, but also what DFM does to support the other agencies as well. So hope you can prepare for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for the director? Seeing none, thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Yes, sir. We have Donald Sakamoto standing by remotely.
Okay, please proceed.
Good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and other council member Donald Sakamoto from Kaneohe. I'd like to support Designee Director Albano to continue on as the Director of Department of Facility Maintenance. At our Kaneohe meeting, we brought up issues with crosswalks in Kaneohe with big potholes. His department finally did it, as well as clean up my stream and potholes and restriping. It's a tough business, but I believe he can still do it for another 4 years, so I support him, and I thank him for doing what he did for me and the community in Kaneohe. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Seeing none, just want to thank you in advance with the storm coming to you, your deputy, and your team. I know you have a challenge coming in the next few days, so thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We have been fully aware of the pending storm and have prepared for it. We will do our best to make sure that we maintain public safety as the storm comes. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 25-14, Councilmember Kiai.
Sorry, can I just add something to your follow-up, Chair? Director Designate, you know, just following up on the storm surges for the streams, I have posted for my community the various corporation yards on the windward side, and I know that that a lot of the surges are going to occur after hours. So I guess I did recommend that they contact 911, and maybe I just would suggest that you work with the HPD and notify everybody that over the next couple of days that they're going to be getting phone calls, because a lot of this is going to be happening after hours. So that's my only manao.
Thank you.
And feel free to contact each council member as well, because we could get the word out to our constituents.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, members, Resolution 25-14 has been referred to the Committee on Planning, Infrastructure, and Technology and Transportation. Moving to the top of page 10, Resolution 25-15, confirming the nomination of Nola N. Miyazaki to serve as Director of Human Resources of the City and County of Honolulu. Aloha and welcome.
Good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Ware, and members of the City Council. I'm Nola Miyazaki, Director Designate for the Department of Human Resources. It's been a privilege to serve the Mayor and to work closely with the Council over the last 4 years, initially as the Director of Customer Services and more for the past 3 years as the Director of Human Resources. And with your support and the support of administration, we've made tremendous progress, but there's still critical work to be done. I look forward to having the opportunity to continuing the work of modernizing the Department of Human Resource functions across the city, working closely with the council. I appreciate your consideration of my nomination. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Any questions for the nominee? Councilmember Wire.
Thank you, Chair. Not a question, Mahalo Director, for all you're doing. Just wanted to flag, I think one thing I anticipate getting your input on during committee would be increased differentials for various positions, and so would welcome that feedback when the time comes, but just wanted to flag it at this point. Mahalo.
Absolutely. Cool.
Thank you. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Thank you, Chair. It's not a question, but it is a flag. In many of my meetings with the various department heads, they continue to express that there are challenges and frustrations with the classification and job description issue, and that is impacting their ability to fill some of the vacancies. And so over the next few months, I hope to be able to work with you to really get a sense of the progress that we've made in this regard, but then also look at ways we can further unstick this process. We can start filling vacancies and really expanding the reach of services that our employees and the departments are able to provide to the public.
Thank you, Council Member. That's definitely, those are items on our radar screen as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you, members. We're in discussion. Seeing none, Resolution 25-15 has been referred to the Committee on International Legal Affairs. Thank you. Turning to the bottom of page 10, Resolution 25-16, confirming the nomination of Brian C. McKee to serve as the Director of Information Technology of the City and County of Honolulu. Aloha and welcome.
If only there was an IT guy here that could figure this out, right? Thank you for being here, and I would say that it was a very humble experience to get a call by the mayor to consider taking a job from somebody who has been here for 12 years and done a great job. Having said that, I've got a little bit different style. I've been able to meet with most of the, with all of the city council, tell you a little bit about what I have planned. It's been a really raucous first month, but I think I've got a really good feel for the talent that we've got in-house and some of the things I want to accomplish and the way we're going to get that stuff done. So I will answer any questions anybody might have.
Thank you, members. Any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, I'm sure we'll have lots of questions at the committee.
I'm sure. Okay.
Hearing. Okay, thank you. Mr. Clerk, do you have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Members, any discussion? Seeing none, Resolution 25-16 has been referred to the Committee on Innovation, Technology, and Entertainment. Moving to the top of page 11, Resolution 25-17, confirming the nomination of Masahiko Kobayashi, MD, PhD, to serve as the medical examiner of the City and County of Honolulu. Aloha and welcome.
Thank you and good morning. My name is Masahiko Kobayashi. I'm the medical examiner designate. And it's been my honor to serve the people in the city and county of Honolulu as the medical examiner for the past 5 years. And there were so many challenges, but with your support, we overcame many things. And for the next 4 years, I want to improve our death investigation system more. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Any questions for the nominee? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. We're in discussion. Seeing none. Resolution 25-17 has been referred to the Committee on Public Safety and Customer Services. Moving to the bottom, thank you. Moving to the bottom of page 11, Resolution 25-18, confirming the nomination of Laura H. Thielen to serve as the Director of Parks and Recreation of the City and County of Honolulu. Aloha and welcome.
Aloha, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and members of the Council. It has been my honor and joy to serve as the Director of the Department of Parks and Recreation for the last 4 years. I feel that we have been able to accomplish a lot, but I will admit it is a large department and very challenging and touches the lives of many people, so there is much yet to do. I've really enjoyed working with the Council. I know when I started, there was some tension, I think, between the department and the Council, and I feel that we've made progress. And I hope to have the pleasure of working with all of you again for another 4 years.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the nominee? Seeing none. I'm sorry, Councilmember Okimoto.
Just a quick question. Thank you, Chair. Aloha, Director Designee Thielen. I was wondering, and you mentioned that your scope is pretty broad. So what are your initiatives or what are your priorities this coming, not just fiscal year, but the rest of the term that the mayor has?
Thank you, Council Member. So we have had a tremendous amount of turnover in our department. So we have a lot of young, green managers in leadership. So I can list our priorities, but concurrent with each of these priorities is developing the professional capacity of the people within the department. We are working on standards for the recreational programming, particularly in the programming that we provide to youth and kupuna, so that we can make sure that we're meeting the needs of the population and helping develop the civic structure of the island of Oahu. We are working on standards on maintenance so that we can shift from being a reactive department to a proactive department. And we have a series of efforts that we're doing on that. Thankful to the Council for the support for the funding to bring in a professional services contract. We will be beginning this year to develop an asset management approach, starting with the roofs of our buildings and also working on maintenance standards for our groundskeepers. We have efforts that are underway on climate change, both at the ground level, some partnership projects that we are doing with the state for dune restoration and how to be able to mitigate the impacts on our beach parks and then plan for climate change over the long term. Taking into consideration the plans for other agencies like the Department of Transportation, which will be shifting highways so that we can continue to provide beach access for our residents. And then we can keep our residents and our staff safe in increasing heats. And then as we're seeing today, increasing volatility of storms. We're working on increasing the tree canopy coverage and providing equity in the improvements that we're making at parks because there has been a lag in building out parks where the population has shifted and moved towards. And so we want to make sure that residents across the island have the same type of recreational opportunities. So those are some of the ones off the top of my head. We have others as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any further questions, members? Seeing none. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have Donald Sakamoto standing by remotely and a person in the chamber.
Okay, please proceed.
Good morning, Vice Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and other council members. Donald Sakamoto from Kaneohe. Director Thielen, I just have concerns about Holomia Park. They do have a reservoir and water is released constantly. Have you ever explored about getting a some kind of like a electricity from the water when it's released so they can generate its own power for the park or for the neighborhood some way? Was that ever thought about in your plan?
Thank you, Mr. Sakamoto. We'll write down that question and ask that during the committee hearing process.
Support Laura 3. Yeah.
Thank you. Next, we have Angela Melody Young.
Angela Melody Young, on behalf of Aurora Cares, in strong support of one of the director's nominations for Parks and Recreations. Really appreciative of former Senator and all the work that they're doing at Parks and Recreations, from weighing out the ideas from the public and balancing public criticism and putting it into action, working out the difficulties in public policy and community outreach responsibilities, especially as their focus with their branches are a few hot topics like summer fun, botanical gardens, and Kapuna activities. I really appreciate all that they do. And also, I love helping seniors, and I love the work at Booth Park to make crafts and to sell it at the Blaisdell Center for the Mayor's Craft Fair. I really love that. And of course, summer fun. We all need a little bit more joy in our lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Seeing none, Resolution 25-18 has been referred to the Committee on Parks. Moving to the top of page 12, Resolution 25-19, confirming the nomination of Don E. Takeuchi Apuna to serve as the Director of Planning and Permitting of the City and County of Honolulu. Aloha and welcome.
Aloha, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and Honorable City Council members, Don Takeuchi Apuna, Director Designate of DPP. I just want to say the last 2 years and 4 months has been challenging, but I appreciate the support and the collaboration of this council to help us move forward with DPP. I look forward to and would be humbled to continue this journey and really get where we need to be and to do it together. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have Raquel Achu standing by remotely and testifying in the chamber.
Okay, please proceed.
Hi, thank you. Raquel Achu, Wailomoku, North Shore, in strong support of the reappointment of Director Apuna. I can't say it enough. Very grateful for the responsiveness, the inclusion, and the continued collaboration in addressing the issues and the improvements within our community. And I'm beyond grateful for all of her work and time. You guys really hit it out of the park with this director, because we have seen a vast difference in the improvements and the execution. So in full support, and I look forward to future collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Angela Melody Young.
Aloha, Angela Melody Young, in strong support of one of the directors for the confirmation of this resolution. And I love the work of DPP and the team, and also the council members that are involved in housing development and zoning, and also in our neighborhood, where we have a lot of immigrant families, such as myself and my family, who immigrate from China. To find a better living in Hawaii, a lot of the Chinese families have developed homes and are contractors and architects and developers and have to learn DPP's code in English. And so I'm just really appreciative, because the office and the team is very collaborative. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Seeing none, Resolution 25-19 has been referred to the Committee on Zoning. Moving to the bottom of page 12, Resolution 25-20, confirming the nomination of J. Roger Morton to serve as the Director of Department of Transportation Services, City and County of Honolulu. I believe Director Morton was not going to be able to be here today. Do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have Donald Sakamoto standing by.
Okay, please proceed.
Good morning, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and council members. Donald Sakamoto again. I support the reappointment for Roger J. Morton. I known him since he was at OWL Transit, General Manager and Vice President, and as the Director of Department of Transportation Services. I work closely with him with the bus and handy van, and I have very great confidence in what he's doing, but I still will support his continuation for this next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Seeing none, Resolution 25-20 has been referred to the Committee on Planning, Infrastructure, and Transportation. Moving to the top of page 13, Resolution 25-21, confirming the nomination of Clark L.K. Bright to serve as the Band Director of the Royal Hawaiian Band of the City and County of Honolulu. Aloha, Mr. Bright.
Aloha. Aloha, Chair Waters. Aloha, Vice Chair Wire. Honorable council members, aloha. My name is Clark Bright. I am the Band Director Designate for the Royal Hawaiian Band. I've been honored to serve for 14 years. And as I start my 15th year, I wanted to sincerely thank you, council members, for your love and support for the Royal Hawaiian Band. I'd be honored to continue to serve under the next term for Mayor Blangiardi. Mahalo.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the Band Director? Seeing none, any testifiers, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Chair, we have a Deborah King signed up in person, if she's here.
Okay, let's start with Deborah King, followed by Angela Melody Young.
Okay. Aloha, Council Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and council members. I strongly support the nomination of Bandmaster Clark Bright. I have been participating in the free concerts and parades the Royal Hawaiian Band participates in, and they have inspired me. I have many injuries. I have a brain injury, head trauma, and neck injuries. And the music has been helping heal me by synchronizing my brain. And I am learning through the inspirational stories and the history they provide. And they have also inspired me to inspire others. And so I have been supporting and showing up for the Waiawa Middle School Jazz Band. And it just gives me huge compassion. And it also helps reduce my stress and tension. And this is all because of the compassion and kindness and the gentle hand that Bandmaster Clark serves with. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Angela Melody Young.
Angela Melody Young, testifying in strong support of one of the directors for the Royal Hawaiian Band. I think last year or the year before that, I testified to support their equipment and tools to upgrade and to elevate their musical shows, and for them to play in some of the venues and the events in Hawaii. It's really nice. They play everything from contemporary.
-21 has been referred to the Committee on Innovation, Technology, and Entertainment. Moving to the bottom of page 13, Resolution 25-27, confirming the nomination of Catherine A. Tachner to serve as the Director of Land Management of the City and County of Honolulu. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Chair Wire, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, Honorable City Council members. My name is Kat Tachner, and I am the Director Designate for the Department of Land Management. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as the Director for this department for the last 18 months, and thank you for your consideration of my appointment. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, members. Any questions? Councilmember Wire.
Thank you, Chair. Mahalo, Director. Do want to first just say mahalo. I know that you're paving a new path with the direction of the department and bring a wealth of experience and legal background and knowledge. And so appreciate that. And just wanted to flag, of course, I'll defer to the committee chair, but questions I'll be asking in committee would just particularly revolve around the Clean Water and Natural Land Fund, because it has come up with the committee multiple times. We have a few acquisitions that folks are asking for. And so just maybe even discussion of how we can streamline and expedite to the extent possible the disbursement of those funds would be welcome. Mahalo, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any other questions for the nominee? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Members are in discussion. Noting none, Resolution 25-27 has been referred to the Committee on Executive Management. Thank you. Next, on page 14, Resolution 25-22, confirming the nomination of Lloyd M. Yonenaka to serve as the Executive Secretary to the Neighborhood Commission of the City and County of Honolulu. Hello, welcome.
Okay, Ma, good. It's a typical neighborhood board thing, like, you know, you're on mute. So, good afternoon, everybody. Lloyd Yonenaka, Executive Secretary for the Neighborhood Commission. I'm very happy to be here today. I have met with a number of you, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Members, any questions for Mr. Yonenaka? Councilmember Tupola.
Aloha, thank you for being here. I just want to say thank you for all the hand-holding and guiding that you've been doing for our neighborhood boards. I think these past couple months, them announcing the rules and basically abiding by the same sunshine rules that we have. I know it's really frustrating because neighborhood boards used to be kind of more organic, but also I think it's provided more order. Hopefully, you know, that this can kind of continue on to be something that still allows for public input, but is a little bit more organized and ends on time. But I really, really appreciate all the work you've been putting in to do that. I know personally you've been working with chairs and board members and helping them understand. So keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any follow-up? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers? Angela Melody Young, please proceed. Sorry.
Aloha, Angela Melody Young, testifying in strong support of one of the directors for this resolution for the Neighborhood Board Commission. And so Lloyd, he's been really helpful, super helpful with all the drama that happens on Neighborhood Board. I know I'm not the only one that experiences drama on Neighborhood Board because it's a very public session. So I won't go into it live. You know, there are a lot of really good work that they do. They help constituents, they help to manage and facilitate the relationships and the dynamics on the neighborhood board. And also the work with the Office of Information Practices, although it could be a little bit more integrated with the attorneys and the practice of law, as it dictates the Sunshine Law. Upon the neighborhood board's initiatives. I just appreciate all that work, and we can talk later. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It also looks like Raquel Achiu. Please proceed.
Hi, thank you, Raquel Achiu, Wailumoku, North Shore. I am in full support of Mr. Yonenaka. I'm testifying on my own personal position. However, I am on the North Shore Neighborhood Board, Vice Chair, number 27, and very appreciative for all of the guidance and all of the support he provides our board, and definitely feel for all of the challenges that are faced throughout the island with the various neighborhood boards. So I'm very grateful for his support and his input. Mahalo.
Thank you. Tim Gary.
Yeah, good morning, Tim Gary. I strongly support Lloyd. He's been very responsive. Every time anybody calls him, he jumps right on it. Our particular board, Waikiki, he's come down and babysat and got things in order to where it was more focused on the citizens and the neighbors and not the board. The board seems to take over with their own little personal stuff, and the concerns of the neighbors we always run out of time because the board just keeps yapping and yapping and yapping. Lloyd came down and straightened them out. It was like taking a bunch of children and telling them the rules. So I strongly support Lloyd to continue in his professional job. Thank you, Lloyd.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Seeing none. Resolution 25-22 has been referred to the Committee on International Legal Affairs. Members, on the bottom of page 14, we already passed Resolution 25-29. Members, it is now 12:08. Would you like to continue on first reading measures on pages 15 through 19? Okay. I'm getting a lot of heads up. Okay, moving to the top of page 15, Vice Chair Wire.
I move that the first reading items listed on pages 15 through 19 of the agenda pass first reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Vice Chair Wire for the explanation.
Bill 1 relating to public places, Bill 2 relating to funds, Bill 3 relating to incentives for businesses, Bill 4 relating to sponsorships, Bill 5 relating to animal recovery, Bill 6 relating to structures, Bill 7 relating to the fire code, Bill 8 relating to animal nuisances, and Bill 9 relating to fees and charges.
Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers on any of the bills on pages 15 through 19?
Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Mr. Chair, we have two registered testifiers remotely, but I do not know if I do not see them logged on.
I do see Winston Welch from the Outdoor Circle on Bill 4. Is Winston Welch signed on?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Welch is not logged on.
Okay, I know Christine Denton is present on Bill 7. Aloha, welcome. Please proceed.
Aloha, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and members of the City Council. Oh, Christine Denton, Ko'inoa, Special Counsel to Prosecuting Attorney Stephen Alm. We have submitted our written testimony, and we're going to stand on that testimony for Bill 7, but I'm happy to try and answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. Members, any questions for the testifier? Councilmember Kia Aina.
Yeah, I know this is first reading, so we'll have more of a dialogue, but this is an important issue. I am quite aware of the legal concerns that have been raised under the charter or under state law. I still am not satisfied with the responses that I have been given, that just because of those two provisions that somehow we should not be aligned. So prior to the hearing, perhaps, maybe we can sit down and talk story.
Sure.
Because no, I don't know why we should have weaker laws on addressing aerial fireworks in the state, apart from the legal impediments, so you make it legal. And so I look forward to having further discussion with your office. Thank you.
And we'll reach out to schedule that.
Thank you. Councilmember Wire.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to echo that because it is first reading, and just want to appreciate the leadership of Councilmember Kia and Councilmember Okimoto, but note that I understand and am in agreement with underlying concerns raised by Prosecutor Alm. So appreciate your testimony.
Yep.
And no reservations or objections to the bill moving forward.
I think if I can add one more thing for consideration after I reread our testimony. The other issue too with firework prosecution is proving all elements beyond a reasonable doubt. And the main element really truly is identification. And it's going to be really difficult, which it has been difficult, aside from the fact that the actual evidence has been blown up, is the fact that we need to have people able that want to come forward, call 911, testify at a hearing, at a court hearing. So that's the other difficulty.
Thank you. Any further questions for the testifier? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've been told that Winston Welch is now on. Aloha, Mr. Welch, please proceed.
That's the other difficulty.
Yes. Thank you, Chair Waters. I just wanted to stand out.
For the testifier. Seeing none, thank you very much.
Yeah, I just wanted to test
Winston Welch is now on. Winston, can you mute your television, please?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I had Olelo on at the same time. Yeah, good. Kanki Pat Choi, everybody. Happy New Year. Hope this is a great year of the wood snake for us all. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for all the hard work you do. Specifically for Bill 4, we are looking forward to working with the committee to make sure that any sponsorship measures that go forward comport with our, rightly guarded and stringent sign and off-site advertising laws. And so we look forward to working with folks on the committee. So thank you very much.
Thank you, members. Any questions for Mr. Welch? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers on any of the bills on pages 15 through 19?
Mr. Chair, that's all the registered testifiers. We have Mr. Gary in the chamber.
Thank you. Mr. Gary, please proceed.
Yes, and regarding Bill 4, I strongly support this. This kind of ties into revenue so that you don't have to jack up the seniors' taxes. Maybe we can tie something together, but this is something that city and county has neglected for years, going back to Caldwell. Caldwell fought this tooth and nail. There is so much private money out there in the city. So much. There are trusts and stuff that have to give away money as according to their trust. My niece works for Kapiolani Baby Hospital. She raises millions of dollars every year. I'd like to see that replicated across. Outdoor Circle might have some, criticism of it, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a billboard sign that is evasive. So I strongly support this. This can work for so many departments. One of them is ocean safety. There is a ton of money out there that wants to support them. Whether they take a picture with the ocean safety guys, use it to promote and market whatever product they have, why would we turn that money down? You want to jack up my taxes so you can keep feeding the trough all the time? Let's get innovative, think outside the box. Let's not be stale. Have some imagination. I appreciate this, Radiant, and I want this to move forward quickly. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers.
Thank you very much. Members, we're in discussion. Councilmember Tupola.
Thanks so much, Chair. I just have 3 quick comments on Bill 4, 5, and 8. So thank you so much, Mr. Gary, for your comments on Bill 4. I look forward to working with the introducer. I want to thank her very much for this. I do have 3 other models that are done in other cities where they actually have foundations or funds that are just for the parks. So it could be a sponsorship or a foundation, but I'm going to bring it up and see which one works best, because I would agree. I've had people call me on a regular basis asking if they can redo a park or help with it, and it's beyond the adopt a park. It's much farther than that. And in my district, I actually have one park that's half private, half city and county, and you can imagine what both sides look like, but they don't match. And it's because privately run areas, or when you have more funding to do it, you're able to do more with it. So we want to help the parks. As the parks chair, I want to see this happen. And as well, we got 300 acres given to us from the Navy. So I don't think we're actually going to be able to do anything back there if we don't have some type of foundation or sponsorship program, because we'll never have the funds to really develop that whole area. So I wanted to say that I support this and look forward to working with the introducer to see if we can, just make it the best it can be. On Bill 5, definitely we talked about this last year, but the pound master, I'm suggesting that we change it to an animal control contractor. The current law of the pound master is pretty outdated. It does actually pay it by how many animals they catch and selling it at an auction, which are also outdated. But I do think that it's important. In my district in 2015, there were cattle running across the street in front of Ko'olina, and unfortunately, an HPD officer shot it dead. And I think in the future, possibly if we had somebody, we could catch the cattle and give it back to the owner or take it off the street. And lastly, of course, there was
takes it out of the purview of the mayor and puts it under CSD, very similar to what we do with the Humane Society. So I thank Director Hashiro for working with me on this. Lastly, with Bill 8 for animal nuisances, this specifically establishes civil penalties to protect residents and their property. I believe that, you know, our farmers are vital to our economy. Protecting their livestock from attacks is key. And I just want to share two brief ones as to why I feel like this is so important for me. But we've had a constituent lose due to a unleashed vicious dog, actually had 2 of their goats dead, killed by the dog. And then very, very unfortunately last year, there was a steer that was attacked by a dog, and later the dog owner shot him dead. And so this is an issue probably more in rural areas than anywhere else, but in support of Bill 8. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any further discussion? First reading items. Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Noting no objections or reservations, the first reading items on page 15 through 19 of the agenda have passed first reading. Members, shall we keep going? Okay. Moving to the top of page 20 from the Committee on Planning, Infrastructure, and Transportation, Councilmember Cordero. Page 20.
I move that Committee Report 311-24 be adopted and Bill 24-2024, City 1 as amended, pass second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Cordero for the explanation.
This is to adopt the revised primary urban center development plan for the City and County of Honolulu.
Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers? I believe I do have, I'm sorry, Mr. Clerk, we do have a number of registered testifiers, starting with Kehonlani Lum, followed by Claire Tamamoto. Aloha and welcome.
Aloha mai kako. Kongi fatoi. Sunyan faila. O wau no Kehaulani Lam no ai ea mai au. O hawa iloa ka akaulua. I'm Kehaulani Lam from Aiea, and Hawa Iloa is my canoe. It's an honor to be here with you today on the first day of the Lunar New Year. Thank you so much. And the whole Ailona are surrounding us as we enter and see the umeke being created on the main floor, waiting to be filled with the aloha of all of us. And I look up here and I see above us all the kupuna in the work that they did before the hana of working in the fish ponds and on the aina. And I'm touched and filled completely. And thank you so much for having us here today. I rise in opposition to this measure as currently iterated with much gratitude to the committee, to Councilmember Kia'aina for bringing it out to the community. I think I was stalking you. I went to every meeting almost. Councilmember Cordero, who has been really, really gracious in meeting with us. Ali'i Hawaiian Civic Club, over which I preside, was created 50 years ago as part of the Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs. And we sit on the board of the ACA and stand in unity with them and echo their comments. We ask you kindly, deeply, to please, though, consider an amendment to this that is in our testimony to create a biocultural resource space in Aiea that is desperately needed. I ask you to do this not on my behalf, but on the part of the young people, the youth who are rising today, finishing their degrees at graduate school and ready to move forward. We are in an area that has a closed well. We have diverted streams. We have no water except the water under our feet. And there is only one place left where we can save that. We are also in the high-risk red zone for wildfire, similar to Lahaina. This bill, in my view, will bring more tinder than we need. This biocultural space will help us to reclaim not only the area that used to be the rich Lo'ikalo lands, but really the water flows down into the stream and into the nearshore waters and the local i'a that thrived for 400 years. We thank you so much for your support of what we're asking for and look forward to continued dialogue. Mahalo.
Members, any questions for Ms. Lum? Thank you so much. Next, we have Claire Tamamoto.
Mr. Chair, the testifier is not logged on.
Okay. Next is Kimberly Moore.
Mr. Chair, Ms. Moore is also not logged on.
Okay. Is Allison Kawino Kamana.
The testifier is also not logged on.
Oh, I think she's in person. Aloha and welcome.
Aloha kākou o ka ulino kaimana yaso ka arakaki ko uinoa no waimalu ai ea mayo. So mahalo for allowing me to speak to all of you today. I am actually an educator, but I am choosing to take a moment so that I can, because this is very important, this plan for urbanization. I think we need to be very cautious in how we look at urbanization and not rush into it and over-densify the places in our rush to expand in the name of affordable housing. I have been a single mother, so I do understand the difficulty as an educator with my pay, and I have not even reached that threshold of the 70,000 because I do not have a master's degree, but I do put my whole heart and soul into what I do. I spend hours and hours at school because I work at a charter school, but what I would like to say is I oppose the adoption of the revised primary urban development plan as it stands. And I also support, because of although I am Japanese, I am 5th generation Japanese in Hawaii. I actually do totally believe in place-based education. I believe in what the place-based movement has done for all of our haumana, what it has done for families and communities. And I think that we cannot only look at building homes, we need to also look at these spaces that can actually cultivate total well-being, and something that we call the biocultural spaces, because they combine science, they combine history, they combine language, and they combine the mo'olelo, and they combine culture. All of those are very integral. So I also support the amending of the language to state, prioritize and invest in biocultural restoration, which includes lo'i kalo, loko mai'a, namala, etc. in Lower Aiea, as an adaptive strategy to address stormwater management and mitigate fire risk, flooding, urban heat island, and groundwater recharge. I think this is very important as we address climate change, as we address all of the catastrophic events that could be forthcoming. Mahalo for your time.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the testifier? Seeing none, thank you. Next, we have Jason Yasuoka Arakaki. Okay, Mr. Clerk, that's all I have for registered testifiers. I believe there's a number of people in the audience who'd like to testify. Why don't we start with the in-person testifiers and go to remote testifiers? So please proceed. Hello and welcome.
Aloha mai kako. Ovau o Kelly Herther. Sorry, I'm super nervous. Noho vau I aea. Councilman, Chairman Waters, and the rest of the council, thank you for letting me be here. My name is Kelly Herther. IAEA is my home. I stand before you today to oppose this proposal, this Bill 24, as it is written right now. The change in the language that we are proposing aligns with the amendment introduced by our representative, Councilmember Cordero, to respect, quote, Native Hawaiian culture and knowledge, end quote, by providing a space for the community to engage in the practices of the past to benefit the present and the future. Adoption of our proposed language and the establishment of a biocultural space in Lower Aiea will respect Native Hawaiian culture and knowledge by keeping it alive, not just in words. So we request the following language be included in the bill area relating to Aiea. Prioritize and invest in biocultural restoration, Native Hawaiian, lo'i kalo, loko ia, mala, etc., in Lower Aiea as an adaptive strategy to address stormwater management and mitigate fire risk, flooding, urban heat island, and groundwater recharge while also supporting urban greening, indigenous culture restoration, food security, and community stewardship. Without the adoption of this change, I oppose this measure. Mahalo nui loa for your serious consideration.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the testifier? Seeing none, thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to testify? Aloha, Mr. Maraku. Thank you for joining us. Please proceed.
Aloha, James Manaku Sr. You know, I'm not sure what I've been looking at the television all these days, and I've been looking at our building of our communities today. And I'm against this building. You know, we're just building and building and building and not looking at the fire hazards that we're building today. You know, we're running out of water. You know that, yeah? Oh, of course you folks know that. You folks are politicians, yeah? So how do we stop this? Because I'm not sure if you folks are really paying attention to the buildings that we're building today. They're this close to each other. And if we're paying attention to the world today, when we get fires, and you notice we get a lot of wind, yeah, in Hawaii, and these folks are paying attention to the buildings that we're building today, we're building it too close. And with the winds that we're having, all we need is one fire. And we're going to have what we see that's happening around the world today. We're going to have a big fire in Hawaii today because we're not building it far apart. We're building it really, really close, gang. So, you know, I know we need homes, but how do we stop this lunacy? I mean, gang, we need homes, but have you folks been to Ever Beach? Have you folks looked at our mountaintops? Seen all the homes that we have there? All we need is one good wind and one house on fire. And the whole place is gonna go. So how do we as politicians address this problem? Or do we address it? Or do we just let it go? I have 21 grandchildren, 10 great-grandchildren. I don't know how many you folks have. Are we concerned about them? I come every year worried about my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Are you folks worried about them? You do? Then we need to worry about them because I am worried about them. That's why I'm here today. Because all we need is one match. Well, you folks all know what can happen with one match. So we gotta stop this building. Somehow we gotta stop the building and learn how to fight fires before we start building more houses, because that's our families out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions for Mr. Manaku?
I can answer one match.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers? I believe we do have a few people with their hand raised. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to testify before we move to remote testimony? Seeing none, please proceed, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, good afternoon again. Kimberly Goheen-Elbin from Clark County, Washington, USA. With all due respect, I speak to all of the people there. And I do encourage the wonderful citizens of all islands to attend their local city and county or island meetings, as the Constitution gives you the duty and right to assemble and to address those who do your business, which is this council. And with all due respect, I want to give a little history about this. It pertains to possibly having the Growth Management Act, your comprehension plan. The citizens need to educate themselves on this. But I'm going to say it's a double-edged sword, because a lot of the cities in the states that do not follow the GMA, it's an elected thing to follow, or a comp plan, are not those cities that are sanctuary cities or comply to the United Nations. So there's a division there of cities that follow the United Nations, such as the Vancouver, Washington I mentioned earlier, where I was born, and I find it my duty to speak at every meeting, and people are becoming more aware of what's happening here. So I'll speak from that I found out that Honolulu and a few other cities are members of the United Nations, and the citizens must know this and be transparent in that. And with that knowledge, they manage a whole different system of your forestry, your growth. They have a plan that you don't know about. It's an agenda. And it affects your water, the sewers, I mean, everything. And people need to be aware of what kind of government do we have here that we elected to serve us, because the government is there of the people, for the people, by the people. But yet if they get hooked up into some sort of agenda, and I hate to say this, but criminal Biden allowed that to happen. And there's a whole big agenda going on that you could read in Agenda 21 2030 from the John Birch Society. And it's a horrible nightmare to wake up to. But there are a lot of things going on that's disrupting. I always like to end with, God is always good. To those that do not serve God, there's always grace and mercy. I'm so sad that we have polluted our Pacific Ocean, our Atlantic Ocean, all the oceans, and we are in big trouble. And I beg the people of Hawaii, the beautiful state there, of the people, to make sure we don't pollute anymore. That is the main cause, especially there. You're surrounded by the Pacific Ocean, and our coral, our
Thank you so
fish,
much.
everything. And so it's overpopulation.
Appreciate your testimony.
That's what it is.
Thank you. Members, any questions for that testifier? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers? And I do want to remind folks we're on Bill 24, CD1, adopting the revised primary urban center development plan. Mr. Clerk, I believe we have Kanaka first available.
Hello, my kako. O Africa kimo na madaris ko ino no why na mayao. So the person just came on. This is for us in Hawaii. Stay in Washington, please. Anyways, we're talking about development. You know, who are we developing for? Is what's the whole concept of this, right? As we continue to be displaced as Kanaka Maoli, we need to restore what we had, what we once had, because our infrastructure can't take any more development in the urban communities anymore. Exactly like the uncle was saying earlier, the Anakala, you know, everything is so tight, close to everything now. It's like those little small cities everybody else talks about nowadays, right? We ain't got to get into that. It's just the safety of everything. We've seen what happened with Lahaina, but also see what happened with Los Angeles. You know, one match, like how I said, could just take out everything. But we need to restore what we had before, the lo'is, our whole system that we can survive off of. We can't eat concrete, guys. All this development is not for us. Nobody can afford it, so where are we moving to? Las Vegas, California, Washington, and elsewhere. We need to start thinking about the people, thinking about the community that's been here, the ones like us who come from here, you know, because we're the ones who hurt the most. When you see our families all leaving, every year we get somebody in our family leaving. They're looking for better opportunities elsewhere. You know what I mean? A much more happier life in any other place than their home of Hawaii. We shouldn't be going that route, you know? So I'm in full opposition to this until things are clarified better. and made better for the people of Hawaii. Mahalo for your time, Chair, and all council members. Aloha.
Thank you, Mr. Maderos. Any questions for the testifier? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Yes, we have Raquel Achu online standing by.
Okay, please proceed.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. I just have a comment based on other testimonies. Yes, the development issues that we're faced with on the daily, especially in what we deal with on the North Shore. I think a large question that has not been addressed thoroughly is our carrying capacity. It really needs to be brought to the table because we keep adding and our resources are dwindling. The North Shore, we already have we're short on resources, right? We don't have hospitals, we have one ambulance, we have a shortage of HPDs. So I think it really is a conversation that needs to take place as we keep taking on. And when we keep building, there's no guarantee these new structures or new homes will go to local people. There's no guarantee of that. So we're adding more opportunity for more people to move here and we still become displaced. And it's a conversation that's worth being had and a consideration that should be thought of. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Any questions for Ms. Achu? Seeing none. I believe that's it for public testimony, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, that concludes the testifiers.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. I do note the presence of Director of Permitting and Planning, Don Takeuchi Apuna. Perhaps we could start with you. It might be helpful to explain to the public exactly what the primary urban core is geographically, and then what this plan is supposed to do.
Thank you, Chair, for that question. I would actually like to defer to my chief planner, Dina Wong, who can provide more details and be more accurate.
Terrific. Thank you. Aloha and welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Wire, and members of the council. The primary urban center is one of the 8 planning regions on Oahu. It is the most populated region. It runs from Pearl City to Kahala, and it was last updated in 2004.
Pearl City to Kahala. Thank you. Basically encompassing, I think, District 4, 5, 6, 7, and possibly 8. It is not Eva. It is not Waianae. Or the windward side, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what are you proposing in this primary urban core development plan in general terms, and then I'll open it up for questions?
Well, in general terms, it touches upon many different, topics or issues. If you go through the plan, it touches upon housing, transportation, natural resources. This plan introduces more on the climate change and sea level rise, topics that weren't there in the 2004 plan. It carries out our general plan, which calls for the primary urban center to be where most of the growth on Oahu is directed to, the PUC and to EVA. We have a directed growth management, and it carries through to the development plans and the sustainable community plans, and then implemented through our zoning and other rules and regulations. So it's a policy document that is used to guide development.
And again, it's meant to be a guiding principle, but it doesn't, correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't have the force and effect of an ordinance, correct?
It's adopted as an ordinance, but what can be developed on a particular parcel is determined by the zoning that's in place.
Okay, thank you. Members, any follow-up questions for Department of Permanent Planning? Councilmember Wire.
Thank you, Chair. Just quickly so I can make sure I better understand. Mahalo for being here. So when we're talking about the general plan and I mean, we have dozens upon dozens upon dozens of plans that the city has. Is that your understanding on different topics, from sustainable communities plans to development plans to TOD plans? Is that true? We have a lot of plans.
Yes, we have a lot of plans. DPP has plans as well as other agencies.
Okay, and then the folks that are designing these plans are going, can you walk us through maybe a sentence or two for that? Like, I'm assuming they're planners that do community outreach, that meet with community members, that take input. Like, how does that work?
Sure. Well, just speaking to the development plans and sustainable community plans, it's done through funding from the city. DPP manages it. We often have a consultant that we work with, and it's heavily based on community input. Some plans have a planning advisory committee formed to, be our outreach to the community. In other cases, like the PUCDP, it's such a large area. We relied on surveys and pop-up events and workshops and other forms of outreach. So.
Okay, and it's drafted by DPP staff or compiled by staff?
It's primarily drafted by a consultant, but there's a lot of back and forth between DPP staff and the consultant.
Okay.
And we also have like other agencies maybe doing pre-reviews of it, especially if it's pertaining to, for example, water. Board of Water Supply might take a closer look, or parks, they'll take a look before we release out a public review draft.
Okay, and then just finally, I was going to ask, I mean, would you say it dramatically changes development plans from the discussion we just had, like contemplating the purpose of the PUC and then the general plan and also investments in TOD plans? Wouldn't you say this is in line with the general direction of our city and planning?
Yes, definitely. It's in between our general plan, and then the TOD neighborhood plans are a more refined look at those areas.
Okay, mahalo. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any follow-up questions for DPP? Seeing none, okay. Members, we're in discussion. Councilmember Cordero.
Thank you, Chair. First off, thank you to Councilmember Zoning Chair Hia'aina for her work on bringing this to our communities and leading the discussions. I look forward to taking this back to the committee and having the further amendments reviewed and considered there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? I just want to echo those comments. Thank you, Councilmember Kiaina, for your hard work on this measure. I know you took this your committee out to the community in my district at Kaimuki High School, where there was no air conditioning and it was hot, but people came out and were able to voice their opinions. And thank you for listening to your committee members and adopting our amendments. This measure does go back to committee members, so there's another opportunity to weigh in from the public as well. Having said that, roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilmember Cordero?
Aye.
Councilmember Dos Santos Tam?
Aye.
Councilmember Kiaina?
Aye.
Councilmember Nishimoto? Aye. Councilmember Okimoto?
Aye.
Councilmember Talba?
Aye.
Councilmember Tupola?
Aye.
Councilmember Wire?
Aye.
Chair Waters?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, there are 9 ayes.
Thank you. CR 311-2024 has been adopted, and Bill 24-2024 CD1 has passed second reading. Moving to the bottom of page 20 from the Committee on Housing, Sustainability, Economy, and Health, Councilmember Wire.
I move that Committee Report 5 be adopted and Bill 63-2024 pass second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Wire for the explanation.
This is relating to accessory dwelling units.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Members are in discussion. Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Noting no objections or reservations, CR 5 has been adopted. Bill 63-2024 passed second reading. Moving to the top of page 21, third reading items. From the Committee on Budget, Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Chair, I move that Committee Report 1 be adopted and Bill 54 of 2024 CD1 as amended pass third reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam for the explanation.
This bill would amend Chapter 6, Revised Ordinances of Honolulu 2021 as amended relating to the Taxable General Improvement Bond Fund.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you, members. We're in discussion. Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilmember Cordero?
Aye.
Councilmember Dos Santos Tam?
Aye.
Councilmember Kia Aina?
Aye.
Councilmember Nishimoto? Aye. Councilmember Okimoto?
Aye.
Councilmember Talba?
Aye.
Councilmember Tupola?
Aye.
Councilmember Wire?
Aye.
Chair Waters?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, there are 9 ayes.
Thank you. CR1 has been adopted and Bill 54, 2024. CD1 has passed third reading. Moving to the bottom of page 21, then I'd like to take a break for lunch, members. From the Committee on Housing, Sustainability, Economy, and Health, Councilmember Wire.
I move that Committee Report 4 be adopted and Bill 19, 2024 FD1 CD2 be amended past third reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Wire for the explanation.
This is relating to housing.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you, members. We're in discussion. Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilmember Cordero?
Aye.
Councilmember Dos Santos Tam?
Aye.
Councilmember Kia Aina?
Aye.
Councilmember Nishimoto? Councilmember Okimoto?
Aye.
Councilmember Talba?
Aye.
Councilmember Tupola?
Aye.
Councilmember Wire?
Aye.
Chair Waters?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, there are 9 ayes.
Thank you. CR4 has been adopted and Bill 19, 2024 FD1 CD2 has passed third reading. Members, it is now 12:50. Why don't we take a 45-minute break?
Chair, may
Council-
I suggest,
Yes, please.
since we have only 2 more items for third reading, if we could do that, and then we can pause and then pick up with the resolutions in sort of the next section.
Okay, happy to do that. Members, in agreement? All right. Moving to the top of page 22 from the Committee on Planning, Infrastructure, Transportation, Councilmember Cordero.
I move that Committee Report 16 be adopted and Bill 52, 2024 CD1 as amended past third reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Cordero for the explanation.
Relating to electrical bicycles.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Yes, Chair, we have Mr. Donald Sakamoto registered to testify.
Okay, Mr. Sakamoto, please proceed. Mr. Sakamoto, are you there? Okay, we can come back. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, to the right, in person.
Please proceed. Aloha, welcome. Can you press the button that says on?
There we go. Thank you. Aloha Chair Waters, members of the council. My name is Eduardo Hernandez, and I'm here on behalf of the Hawaii Bicycling League. We fully support, and we're a nonprofit organization founded in 1975 with the mission of enabling more people to ride bicycles for health, recreation, and transportation. And we strive to create communities across our islands that have safe, accessible, and inclusive environments for people to bike, walk, and roll. This bill helps to strengthen the environment for safer, more sustainable, and more affordable transportation, and it sends a strong message to state lawmakers, transportation stakeholders, and the public that we are continuing to examine statutes and regulations and make updates to reflect emerging technologies that are increasingly popular with consumers. One of the major issues this bill addresses is defining motors, electric devices with a motor exceeding 750 watts, and that had not been clear in statute, and those types of devices are lead to a lot of injury because of their high speed. So we're fully in support of this, and we appreciate the leadership of Member Tulba and Member Dos Santos Tam and the entire council for helping to make cycling safer in Honolulu. And just a quick update, yesterday it was announced that Honolulu was recognized as a silver level bicycling friendly community as part of a national ranking. We came up a level from bronze, and we're hopefully looking to get to gold. With your support, we'll be able to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. Members, any questions for the testifier? Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Chair, yes, we have Mr. Sakamoto back on.
Okay, please proceed, Mr. Sakamoto.
Yeah, good afternoon, Chair Waters, Vice Chair Oyer, and other council members. I just want to comment on Bill 52, 2024 for the e-bikes. I testified at the last Planning and Infrastructure Transportation meeting in January 16th. And I testified that there should be some kind of bell or noise on these bicycles because as a blind individual and other people are blind, it's very difficult to hear these vehicles. And the National Federation of Blind of Baltimore, Maryland, advocated to have automobiles to have sound, even electric vehicles, so we can hear them. This is vital for us people who can't hear, and it's very dangerous. So I'm not too sure if this can be amended to have some kind of language in it, or is this have to go to the feds to have it mandated nationwide? I would urge that, some kind of bells or something, because just educating people, once they get their license for the bike and buy it, who reads the manual? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sakamoto. Any questions for the testifier? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, do we have any other testifiers?
Mr. Chair, that concludes the testifiers.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Councilmember Tobo.
Thank you, Chair. I got a question for HPD.
Please.
Good afternoon. Major James Slater, Honolulu Police Department Traffic Division.
Thank you. Chair, let's see. Does this give you the enforcement power to start cracking down on illegal behavior like wheelies?
Yeah, there is currently law in the statute that we have been using. I think when I was the commander of District 6 in Waikiki, we made some headlines on HPD cracking down on e-bikes. I think there's a misconception that when you see these things that look like dirt bikes popping wheelies on the roadway, high speeds, those are not e-bikes, right? Those are electronic dirt bikes or electric motorcycles. So they would be subject to other statutory law, which we were able to enforce and remove from the streets. And there's both sides of the fence, right? We get calls, rarely do we get calls saying good job, but we do get a lot of calls with, you guys got better things to do than to be picking on these kids that are on bikes. And then on the other hand, it's why aren't you doing more about the people driving recklessly on these bikes? So we're kind of in the middle on it. But I do believe that, one, the e-bike working group with DTS was excellent. And we do appreciate the council taking all of the collaborative ideas together. You folks took those into account with the newest bill. And we're in support of Bill 52 CD1 as written.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we want everybody to stay safe. So would a amendment provision of this bill help HPD with enforcement also?
Yes.
Okay.
It's an extra tool.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any follow-up questions for HPD? Seeing none, thank you for being here. Any further discussion, members? Councilmember Toba.
I just want to say thank you in support. As we all know, e-bikes have been a huge concern in all our communities for some time. Although this bill does not address everything we are hoping to fix in regards to e-bikes, I believe this gets us closer to our goal of safe streets for all. I would like to thank all the community members that came out to all of our roundtable discussions in my district. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam for his leadership on this, and those who participated in the e-bike working group for helping us get there. We still have a lot of work to do, but this is a great start. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilmember Cordero?
Aye.
Councilmember Dos Santos Tam?
Aye.
Councilmember Kia Aina?
Aye.
Councilmember Nishimoto?
Yes.
Councilmember Okimoto?
Aye.
Councilmember Tauba?
Aye.
Councilmember Tupola?
Aye.
Councilmember Wire?
Aye.
Chair Waters?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, there are 9 ayes.
Thank you. CR 16 has been adopted. Bill 52, 2024, CD1 has passed third reading. Moving to the bottom of page 22, Councilmember Cordero.
I remove that Committee Report 17 be adopted and Bill 56, 2024, CD1 as amended pass third reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Cordero for the explanation.
This bill relates to the use of malls.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Members, we're in discussion. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Thank you, Chair, and I want to thank my colleagues for considering this. I also want to thank the Department of Parks and Recreation and DTS for working together. The 7 pedestrian malls in downtown Chinatown really are great assets for the community, and this bill is going to help us to be able to activate these spaces, to be able to get more events, street festivals, and other activities to really enliven these spaces and make them places that the public can gather in and really be proud of. And so I want to thank the stakeholders as well, and look forward to working with the departments to help implement this. And you're all invited to the first events that happen on all of these malls.
Thank you. Any further discussion, members? Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilmember Cordero?
Aye.
Councilmember Dos Santos Tam?
Aye.
Councilmember Kia Aina?
Aye.
Councilmember Nishimoto?
Aye.
Councilmember Okimoto?
Aye.
Councilmember Talba?
Aye.
Councilmember Tupola?
Aye.
Councilmember Wire?
Aye.
Chair Waters?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, there are 9 ayes.
Thank you. CR 17 has been adopted, and Bill 56, 2024, CD1 has passed third reading. Members, you want to push for 2 more? Okay, top of page 23 from the Committee on Budget, Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Chair, I move that Committee Report 2 and Resolution 24-292 be adopted.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam for the explanation.
This relates to the transfer of funds.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Thank you. Members are in discussion. Seeing none, any objection or reservations? Noting no objections or reservations, CR2 and Resolution 24-292 has been adopted. Moving to the bottom of page 23, Councilmember Dos Santos Tam.
Chair, I move that Committee Report 3 and Resolution 25-4 be adopted.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam for the explanation.
This requests the City Auditor to conduct a performance audit of the Fire Plans Review Revolving Fund.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, do we have any testifiers?
Mr. Chair, we have none.
Any discussion? Councilmember Okimoto?
Sure. Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to reiterate what was expressed in the committee, that this measure is really to ensure that our first responders remain equipped with the necessary resources and a commitment to transparency. Of course, we all consider HFD's vital role in ensuring our community's safety. So I've introduced this resolution, which calls for an audit of the Fire Plans Review Revolving Fund. With this initiative, it aims to enhance accountability and provide insights into fund management, reinforcing community trust, and the audit represents a good governance practice and ensures the effective use of public resources to support the essential work of the Honolulu Fire Department. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any further discussion? Seeing none, any objections or reservations? Noting no objections or reservations, CR3 and Resolution 25-4 has been adopted. Okay, members, now 1 o'clock. I'll defer to the body. Do you want to do 45 minutes or 1 hour? 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour, everybody okay with 1 hour? By the way, come back early if you want. And if everybody's here, I'll start early, but let's do a 1 hour break. Come back at 2 o'clock. Okay, thank you, members. We are in recess.